Hey kids, I'm Eden, and this is my little sister, Sarah L.
Hey kids.
Today on the show,
Today, we're going to be delving deep into our minds, looking for delicious details of information from the past, by which we mean the morbid and politically incorrect games that we used to play as children.
Yeah, we're going to be taking a stroll down Remembery Lane.
Isn't that Memory Lane?
Well, tell that to the graphics guy. And make sure you use his native language, because apparently English is not his forte. Is his native language.
Remembery Lane it is!
I have to say that one of my favorite childhood games was Vietnam Barbie. She was smart, funny, and so much fun to make.
And she scared the piss out of the neighbors. And today, we're going to show you how to make your very own Vietnam Barbie. But you don't have to use our name.
No. That's right, Sarah, L, and I, we've used lots of interesting names for this crafty doll, including Demolition Failure Barbie, Highway Collision Victim Barbie, Suicide Bomber Barbie, and many, many, many more. The list goes on. The fun is endless.
Now to get started. First, you need a Barbie, or humanoid plastic figure. The closer to actual Barbie size the doll is, the more detail we'll be able to achieve. Sorry, bitch. You're not going to the ball tonight.
The other tools that you will need include cigarette ashes, a pair of scissors, a cigarette lighter, medical tape, medical gauze, acrylic paint in red, green, and black, and some scraps of fabric, like an old sock or something. You'll also need a flathead screwdriver. And if you like, you can use a hot glue gun. We like hot glue guns, personally.
Feel free to get creative. Grab a handful of nails or some scraps of sharp metal. How about some broken glass or industrial staples? Make sure to have your legal guardian help you handle the broken glass.
Our legal guardian had a court date, so we have to use crappy pieces of aluminum foil. The army doesn't allow long golden locks. So use your scissors to relieve Barbie of her feathery burden. Cut jaggedly along the scalp, unevenly. Don't worry about cutting her ears or her soft plastic head. The more damage you do at this point, the less work you'll have to do later on in the game. Use this opportunity to rub some cigarette ashes into her hair. Oh. Perfect.
Very lifelike.
Very, very lifelike.
Well, now that Barbie looks like a real war veteran, it's time to make her feel like one by cutting off her legs at the knee. Now, you can cut off both legs or just one leg. Ah, yeah, there we go. Nice clean cut. Varying the leg stump length will make your overall vision that much more realistic. Okay, there we go.
Now, as most people know, your leg contains several very important arteries, so we better stop the blood flow. I'm going to show you how to secure your stump, as we've done with this leg shown here. First, you cut a strip of your fabric or gauze. I'm just going to rip a chunk off.
little more realistic that way. Generally, in an emergent situation, you wouldn't have time to neatly cut your gauze. And now for some gut spillage. It's time to disembowel her. This will be cheaper for those of you who have a cheap hollow plastic doll. In fact, for those of you who don't have a hollow doll, and also don't have a bench saw, maybe you should just skip this step entirely.
You should never use someone else's bench saw without permission.
Cut a line from the middle of the torso up to about the mid-chest. And use your fingers to pry the two sections apart. Ah, see, we got a good lip going on that one. The lip is important.
So now that her body has been cut open, you can insert organs. You can use whatever you like for organs. Bits of yarn, elastic bands, painted gauze. We've used the fingers cut off of an old latex glove that we found for cleaning, and we painted it.
Now that the structural damage has been done, it's time to add some color. She's going to hair and makeup, but this isn't the kind of makeup that your mom wears. It's more like the permanent eyebrows Uncle Ronald got. So first of all, you want to think about your color choice. A corpse isn't always necessarily red. Green rotting organs could be just as effective as a freshly bleeding wound. You can see here that we've used mostly dark reds, browns, and blacks, although there is a little bit of green in there too, just for some definition between organs. And you can see that it's always better to go a little darker around where there would be more bleeding, like the bottoms of the stump.
And I'd just like to point out this interesting little gull sack that has protruded here, which Sarah L. has cleverly painted a lovely shade of green. Look at that. That is nice work. Very nice work. Alright, so now it is time to add some cigarette ashes to give her a freshly exploded feel.
We want the person viewing the doll to get the impression that she's being blown to shit from possibly stepping on a landmine or having someone throw a grenade at her, but basically to be completely charbroiled and mangled beyond repair. Because I can't actually use broken glass or sharp pieces of metal, stupid court date, I'm going to use tiny folded pieces of tinfoil. I want to fold them fairly thick because normally pieces of shrapnel would be about as wide as a quarter or even wider than that sometimes. Using an actual nail or piece of broken glass would be much more effective, but in this case, the tinfoil will do. I'm just using a hot glue gun right now to adhere the shrapnel to the bloody wound, which is now caked with, completely caked with more cigarette ashes, which look quite a bit like charred, burnt flesh at this point.
Now that Barbie's looking particularly shrapnel fresh, we're going to add a little bit of pizzazz using glitter glue.
I'm just going to go ahead and put our initials on the back where she's relatively unharmed.
Beautiful.
We'll just let that dry. So now we think we're pretty happy with our Vietnam Barbie, as it were, and it's about time we go hang her from the neighbor's tree and wait to hear them scream from behind the bushes.
I know, I can't wait.